Jazz hands.
Okay, jazz hands. Come on, jazz hands, everyone. Jazz hands. We are live. We are live, people. Finally, I know we're a little late. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode, is it 158? Is it 158, Gabe? I think it's 158, episode 158 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Okay, live from the Big Daddy Gun Studios in Gainesville. And today we have some very special guests that are actually in the Big Daddy Gun Studios. They're not in the same room with me right now. Just for convenience, so that we don't have echoes and stuff like that. They are right there, these beautiful young people, young man, young woman from the University of Florida, Young Americans for Freedom. I'm getting it right because they have a lower third that I could read. So Victor and Tiffany, welcome to the show, guys. How you guys doing today?
Doing all right. How about you?
Good.
Yeah, doing pretty great.
Awesome. It's great to see some young people here, some young people that believe in the Constitution, that believe in the Second Amendment. I wanted you guys to come on and talk to my audience. So thank you very much for coming in. And I noticed you've got some tools of freedom sitting there on the desk with you right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just a little bit of help from you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you got that's an X95. And I'm not sure what the pistol is, but the rifle is an X95. That pistol, I believe it's an HK. We'll see. We'll check it out. I'll send. And by the way, I'll send. Oh, look at that. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got a really nice pistol for you here, Tiffany. Something really cool that I will send your way. I'm going to show it to you now. And then I'm going to send my production assistant to bring it down to you. Look at that.
Oh,
right
that's
there.
Beauty.
Okay, this is the FN 5.7 pistol in flat dark earth. A beautiful gun, which I think is pretty awesome. Okay, Gabe, come on. I'm going to pass it on to you. This is the torch, my friend.
For the Olympics?
Okay, yes. Keep it in a safe direction.
Faster, higher, stronger.
Yes, transport that right now to Tiffany. And so, guys, what I do here in the top of the show, I usually shout out everyone in the chat. If you guys have a chat window open, you'll see there are tons of people. We've got about 150 people watching us right now live. And I'm going to encourage everyone to click the thumbs ups, okay, and share this. This is really cool.
Wow.
Just really briefly, before I do the shout outs. So, Tiffany, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old. I turned 21 in November. Going to be holding my breath for the next few months.
Yeah, right. And if everything goes down the way that that they've written this law here in Florida for about a month or so, you can't buy anything.
Yeah, no, I can't buy any sort of firearms or anything. It used to have it where you could purchase a rifle or shotgun whenever you're 18, and now they're like, oh no, someone just shot up a bunch of kids, which is awful, but it's, ooh, hey, what do you know, guys?
Freedom just arrived to your, there you go. Yeah, so
yes.
So for another several months here, I'm not even sure. It's not just 1 month. I think for the next, how many months is it? 4 or 5 months or something?
Yeah.
You can't buy anything here. So we're going to talk about that. So you're 20. Okay.
Yes.
So Victor, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. So you're the old man of the group. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have as much infringement upon my rights right now, but I was out there fighting for people like her.
Absolutely. Okay. And so we're going to talk more to these guys. Let me go in the chat real quick and shout out everyone in the chat as quickly as I can here. Kentucky Firearms Network, what's up? I see Rising Tide Outdoors, Nick of Earth, William Hoffman, Michael Bender, Joe Carpenter, Vanessa Kitty. Let's see who else is in here. Mike the WAP 00, Beverly Delk. What's up?
P7M8. HK.
Okay, so that the other pistol that Tiffany has over there is the P7 HK.
Yes.
So that's what you've got there. You can open it up, take a look at it. You can take it out of the holster if you want. The other side. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh yeah, this definitely. I have small hands, guys, so this actually fits.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we'll let you guys follow those as much as you want to. Obviously they're all safe for any safety Nazis out there. Everything has been checked, double checked. These guys know how to safety check, so they're all safe. And let me see. I think I was at Beverly Delk, Screaming Skull Saloon, Nico Sauer, SoCal Gunner. Let's see who else. Free American. So there you go. Yeah, Free American. Chad N, Justin E, Sid 1026 is also in here. Gerald Loafers, Cigarettes and Soda. There's some interesting. See, we were talking about names with these guys earlier. You guys think your names that you have a bad Shyster Magoo.
Look at this one. Moo Butt.
Moo Butt. Yes, that's Moo Butt is one of my favorites. You guys can feel free to shout out any cool names that you see in there, but Moo Butt is one of my favorites. Chris Bullis, also in. Let's see who else. STL Storm Spotter.
I like this one.
Which one?
Screaming Skull Saloon.
Yes, absolutely. He's been here on the show for a long time. There you go. Screaming Skull Saloon. Ridge Runner. I see. Let's see who else is in here. Going down. Lola Strange is in there. What's up?
We got Scully 1110 who says Yaff rocks. There you go.
Yeah.
He knows us.
Oh, is that one of your peeps?
Well, I don't know, but he knows about Yaff.
I got no idea, but they know who Yaff is, and that's fantastic. Yeah. Yaff rocks.
There you go.
Yes, and that is the acronym for Young Americans for Freedom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Young Americans Foundation, which is the parent sort of group, and then Young Americans for Freedom is like their big project.
Oh, okay, very cool. All right, so let's keep going down here. Let's see who else I'm missing. I don't want to miss out on any of these people. JAC says, "What's up, people?" Vlarishad also in here. Let's see. Rick Day, LX Killer, Steve Dave, Jeremy Helmick, DCG 44S. And let's see who else. There's lots of people.
Darth Mayhem.
Darth Mayhem, that's a good one. Tango Hunter, I see Tango Hunter as well. Okay, I just got to Moo Butt. He said hola. There you go. Glenn E. Bowling, Outsider 503, Joe Guzman, Tony London, Alaskan Ballistics, BRA 94, BHAS Josh says, "What's up, Hank?" E-Rock also in there, Christopher Strout. So this is like,
hey, Hank.
What's up?
Outsider 503 is a good question. Is that a bra behind you?
Is it a bra? Where?
That's what he's asking.
Where exactly does he think the bra is?
I think it's to your right.
Oh, right over here?
No, to your left. Sorry. To your left.
My left, the bra.
Yeah, that thing.
Here. Oh, these two hats that look like big boobies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, you know what this is? This is something that we're going to give away tonight, guys. Ooh. We're going to give away these two hats to two people out there. Maybe they're out there in the chat, but what it is, basically, these are Big Daddy Guns hats. They're both digital camo. One is awesome. One I think is like an urban dark gray digital camo.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is like a desert digital camo. We're going to give these two hats away along with, I think, a bunch of patches for Big Daddy Guns to two lucky people that we're going to choose. And we're going to actually do that tonight sometime during the show. So in order to win this, and you probably still have time, you have to go to my post. Are you guys on Instagram, or is that for the old people?
No, we on Instagram.
I use Instagram more than I use Facebook.
Okay, cool. Well, if you go on Instagram and you follow Hank Strange, and then also follow Big Daddy Guns, you'll see that there's a post with me with these hats in a video, and you have to go to that post, comment on the post, like the post. And then also you have to make sure that you're following Big Daddy Guns. And then you have to be in my email list, because several weeks ago, YouTube shut down my channel. And what I realized.
I saw that.
Yeah, you did? Okay. So so once that happens, I have no access to my audience. You know, I've got about 60-something thousand people subscribed to me on the main channel. And when that kind of stuff happens, I can't talk to those people anymore because YouTube owns everything. So we have something called hankstrange.tv. And that's how we're going to communicate with people. So in order to win this, you also have to put your email in hankstrange.tv. So you go to www.hankstrange.tv, put your email in there, go to the Instagram accounts, look at the video, like it, comment on it, follow Big Daddy Guns. Somebody's going to get these hats tonight.
Very nice. There you go. Very nice.
So that's what they could be boobies. Yeah, I mean, if that works for people, we could do that. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes around here, that's what we'll do. Okay, so let me see. I don't think I finished shouting out everyone. Tattoo Jason is in here. Bricks, Lupe Castillo. Let's see who else. LV Louis Cypher, Midnight Range TM, Tony London, Philip Micanol, I want to say. Philip Micanol. Let's see who else. CB. And Jean Javela says, hello, folks. I probably totally messed that one up.
Jean Valjean.
There you go. Yeah, that's okay. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Yeah, that's cool. So let's see. Rusty Shackelford, shout out to him. Rusty Shackelford, Richard Hughes, Baristopheles says, finally, YAF gets on board with the gun channels. That's pretty cool. So I don't know. Do you guys know Baristopheles?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
No?
Yeah, I've never heard of him, but he's in there. He's glad that you guys are here.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. I see Imposter as well as Joe Carpenter, KV Sherm, Tank M4, 4C4. There's just lots of people in there. Okay, if I missed anyone, I see Jeremy Moore says Babyface has been MIA since Monday. Yeah, Babyface is actually, I think tomorrow is his last day on his regular job, and then Babyface comes to work for the Big Daddy Guns.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering if he might be like my boss or my supervisor, but it doesn't matter to me. But he is coming on board. You guys actually met Babyface at the rally.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember that, but you met him. If he was here, you would know. So, okay, I think that's it. If there's anyone else out there that needs a shout out, let me know. Please, guys, click the thumbs ups right now. We have almost 200 people in the chat watching. So our thumbs ups number should be over 200, right? I'm assuming.
Millions and millions.
Yeah, it should be billions of people. I'm going to go check right now. Let's see.
Let me thumbs up right now.
Yes. Make sure you thumbs up. I'm going to thumbs up myself. There we go. We have 151 thumbs up, so I'm pretty sure we can get to 200. We can make that happen. So now let me get back here to these guys from YAF. And let's start with telling us, I guess I'll start with Victor. You know, tell us, what are you majoring in? Obviously, you both go to UF, right?
Yes.
So what are you majoring in, Victor? What's your major?
I'm majoring in business administration and marketing, but, you know, I dabble a little bit in political science.
Okay, cool. And how did you get involved in Young Americans for Freedom?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. I actually came to the University of Florida. And before I came to the University of Florida, I actually voted for Bernie in the primaries.
Oh, you voted for Bernie Sanders.
I did, because I wasn't sure who. I know, right?
No, it's okay. Guess what? No, let me tell you. In the primaries, I voted for Bernie because I'm actually registered as a Democrat. I never switched. I didn't switch over because there's this stupid thing in Florida that you know, in a primary you can only vote. Like, let's say you register as an independent. If there's not an independent running, you can't vote at all. Yeah. And Lola is an independent, so she never gets to vote in the primaries. So I could have switched over to Republican, but I'm really an independent leaning person. I'm a libertarian. That's, gotcha. You know, I really don't even like those kinds of things. But that's, if you want to, you know, put me in a bucket, right, that's where you would put it. So I'm not a huge fan of Democrats at all. I'm not a huge fan of Republicans either. So, you know, I went and voted for Bernie because I didn't want to see Hillary. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I didn't know who I wanted to win, but I knew that one of them wasn't Hillary. So worst case scenario, it would be Bernie Trump, which is you know, Bernie's not necessarily an outsider, but I think Trump would beat him either way. So yeah. Well, he pretty much trashed Hillary also. So yeah. And in the general, how did you vote in the general? I voted for Trump. Absolutely voted for Trump. Okay, cool. So you're saying that it was a funny story how you wound up going over to yeah, because a mutual friend of ours, Sarah, was sort of struggling to find clubs at UF, and I was like, you know, it was sort of like that BS that you give to your friends, but you don't really follow yourself. It was like, you know, you gotta find your niche and this and this and that. And then I was out just whatever, hanging out with friends, going to parties and stuff like that, and I wasn't involved on campus at all. And then Sarah invited me to one of their meetings, and then she's like, hey, you know, Ben Shapiro's coming. So I'm like, oh, Ben Shapiro. I don't know much about him. And then I went, looked him up, and I was like, wow, this guy's legit. So they said, hey, if you help us out, you'll be able to get a ticket. So yeah, I did that, and I've loved the organization ever since. Oh, very cool, very cool. So Tiffany, hey, what is your major at UF? And tell us also how you wound up in Young Americans for Freedom.
Well, I'm a sophomore in biomedical engineering. Not super close to poli-sci at all, but you know, you go where you go. And how I ended up at YAF was through the same Ben Shapiro event that he had attended. Except I didn't actually join YAF until after the event. I attended the Ben Shapiro event because I knew I absolutely loved him. He's phenomenal.
He is. He's an awesome dude. He's a rock star.
And his wife is a doctor.
Oh, okay. That's always good because somebody's got to pay the bills.
Yeah, so I attended that event, and I actually met Daniel Weldon, the president of our UF chapter, at the Rights Union just immediately after that event. It's like, hey, you should come out to our next meeting. So I ended up going to the next meeting and just got plugged in ever since.
Yeah, and then we went to our first conference together. We actually didn't know each other up until that conference, and then we sort of met on the road trip, and we've been in love with YAF ever since.
Okay, awesome. And I don't know, like, you can stop me if I'm giving away any secrets here, but I think you guys kind of like dating a little bit. Is that
something like that?
A little bit.
Is that legitimate? Okay, cool. No, that's nice. So if it wasn't for this group, you guys might not have met. I mean, although you both go to UF, obviously it's a big school, right?
Yeah, I would say chances are probably not.
Yeah.
Cool.
I live in the library.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good, you know. And also, I think it's a good thing to know that at UF there is some kind of room for these kind of things. I know my kids are going to school, and one of the things they worry about is that everyone in college will be, you know, like a SWJ, you know.
SJW.
Excuse me. Yeah, social justice warrior. Right. Exactly. So, you know, and I'm sure there's lots of them at UF.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're always a fun time. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
If they don't come out to you, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, okay. So, and what's the ratio do you guys think of conservative leaning people that are going to UF? Do you think, is it a very small group or is it a bigger group than people expect?
I think, and I think you'll agree with me here, I think that right now it's an untapped market of conservatives at the University of Florida because it is, you know, it is in the South. And like, I think the biggest proof of the statement was our Ben Shapiro event, where our venue held 750 people and we completely sold out, as well as there was about 500 people outside of the venue trying to get in. So that just goes to show that there's much more conservative people than you would imagine at the University of Florida.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So one thing, Victor, when you're tapping on the table there,
yeah.
Yes, you're making a lot of noise. I'm just telling you, because this is that we're going to strip out the audio, and this is actually going to go on the iTunes. Have you young people ever heard of the iTunes?
Oh yeah, we've heard of the iTunes
once or twice.
So this is going to go on iTunes. So we're just trying to get the audio as good as possible. I know you want to mess around with stuff. Feel free to like play around with those guns. If you need me to, I will send more guns over there.
All right,
Victor, just to keep your hands busy.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. And where did we leave off there? Okay. So you were talking, I think, about how many conservatives there are over there. Now with guns, how did both of you get involved with guns? I'll start with Tiffany this time. How long have you, oh, someone's phone's going.
Yeah, that would be his.
That's our president, but hey, he can wait.
Yeah. Okay. He's probably trying to, you were trying to reach out to him, so he's probably getting back to you. So, and we'll talk about him a little bit because he's a football player at UF, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Got Dan Mullen coming up and everything, so that's exciting.
Yeah, he's a little famous. So Tiffany, when did you get involved with guns? Have you always been involved, or is it something recent?
I mean, I know I've always been a very big Second Amendment supporter. I'm guessing what you would call like classic conservative. Except my parents were both very conservative. They have very interesting stories of their own. But I've always been a conservative. I've always been a big Second Amendment supporter. I wouldn't say that I've always been an avid, like shooter or something like that until fairly recently. I know whenever I hit 18, like, oh my gosh, you're an adult now. You get to vote. You get to do all this stuff. And whenever I hit 18, I knew that whenever I turned 21, I wanted to get a concealed carry. So I started practicing a little bit around then, like here and there, since, University of Florida takes up a lot of time. But yeah, and then especially after the shooting started growing, I guess you would say, I started weighing in on the issues a little bit more, looking into the arguments a little bit more, and especially after the Parkland shooting, because I am a student government senator at UF, and the political party that I'm with is Inspire Party. It's I would say the most liberal party.
Actually, hey, there was Challenge Party, but they got voted down.
Oh yeah, they got voted down.
Oh, okay. And these are parties within UF, or?
Yeah, these are like political parties that we have at UF for student government whenever elections come up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I would have to say, because of them, I have been doing a lot of research, looking at Supreme Court cases, asking my friends that are history and poli-sci majors, like, hey, can you give me some resources throughout history that, I can really delve into, dive into when it comes to this topic. So I would say fairly recently, I've become a little bit more educated on the matter, but I've always been a Second Amendment supporter.
Okay, cool. And I hold on one second. I am going to get to you, Victor. Hold on one second. I want to remind everyone that's watching right now to click the thumbs ups. Okay, we really need those. Make sure you click the thumbs ups if you guys can. See, look, the kids are give us the thumbs ups, guys.
All right.
There you go. That's what you guys need to do. Give us 2 thumbs ups, 4, whatever works for you. I am going to take questions from people in the chat. Tony London says, "Go Gators," and
go Gators, go Gators.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna take questions from you guys here in a second. So Victor, how did you get into guns, man? When did you start shooting?
Actually, it was because of this one.
Hey guys.
I came from I was born and raised in Brazil, and guns were always a scary concept because civilians don't have them. But there's a big problem in Brazil where I didn't really start to think about up until now, where you have about 20 million guns in the country. And there's 9 of them that are unregistered, that are just out there. Who do you think has those guns? Of course, it's the criminals, because people aren't going to try to bend the law to try to acquire a gun, unless you really, want to protect yourself. So it was sort of ingrained in the culture there that guns were this bad thing. The whole story. Guns kill people. Guns kill people. Guns are dangerous. I remember when I was about 5 years old, I was at a bank with my mom, and there was a police officer there, and he had a gun in his holster, and I shivered, and I was uncomfortable because of everything that I was seeing in the media was saying that it was these awful things,
Yeah, it's programming to make you think that guns are only for the special people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the bad guys.
Then I went to this girl's house, and then her dad's got a bunch of guns there, and I'm like, wow, this is exciting. The first time that I'm actually get to shoot something. We get set up. You have your dad has a rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun.
Oh, he has a lot more than that.
Well, no one's ever
Victor, by the way, you went over to her house. It's not a coincidence that the dad showed you the guns, my friend.
Yeah. I'm aware.
I hope you're well aware of that.
Oh yeah.
Probably just to show how good of a shot he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He wanted you to know a couple of things.
Couple of ground rules.
Yeah, absolutely. So you went over to Tiffany's, and her dad, showed you guns, and you got a chance to shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of felt sort of the first time what it's like to shoot a gun, the amount of responsibility that you have in your hands. And it sort of dawned on me that's what the American spirit is about. It's about that sort of freedom, the freedom that you can, you can kill people with this thing in your hand, but you have so much responsibility that you sort of can, number one, obviously contain yourself. But obviously, it's just to hold that power in your hands is something I think it's very enlightening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point that you're making, that the difference. I was born in Guyana, which is also in South America, by the way.
Wow.
And there's a huge difference between countries outside of America and America itself. In a lot of places, they say to you that you have to be this special person, have this special responsibility, and the government chooses who these special people are, and they're the only ones who can do this thing or that thing. In particular, one of them is usually firearms. Here in America, there shouldn't, we're all different. right? And we're all great in our own special ways. But in America, we should all be equal. And the government should definitely never be like greater than us or more equal than us. Yeah. You know, if you've, I think that comes from Animal Farm. I don't know if you guys have read that.
Yeah. I've read.
Yeah. So the thing is, that is the difference here with America, you know, and there's definite reasons for that. One of the reasons for that is that the government can get out of hand, and the government should be in fear of the people. It should worry, you know, the people should have the ability to check up on them or correct them when they get out of hand. Yeah. Right. And one of the things that we're dealing with now is that the government is trying to tell us, like, I think Tiffany said earlier, you know, you're 18, you could vote, you could do this thing, you could do that thing. The funny thing about Florida right now, it's effective. Like right now, effectively, if you are younger than 21 years old, but you're older than, you know, you're 18, the government's saying, no, you could vote. We're fine with that. You can do certain things, but you cannot defend yourself.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that you bring that up because, you know, whenever you're 18, like, yes, you're legally an adult. And the argument right now about purchasing a firearm is that people from 18 to 20-year-old don't have like enough life experience. We're not responsible. We're not mature enough to be able to own a firearm. And I'm not saying that we don't have a lot to learn. Obviously, you know, we're relatively young compared to the rest of the population. But it's also the saying that potentially you are not mature enough or have the responsibility to join the military or go live on your own for the first time or vote, you know, for president and all these sort of things. And I'm just looking at that man in Parkland. Like he was 19 years old and he shot up a bunch of people, and you have everyone from 18 to 20 being compared to that young man over there. He's evil, man. I think he's up for the death penalty now.
Yes.
Yeah, he's up for the death penalty now. And to compare every single 18 to 20-year-old to that 19-year-old crazy lunatic is a complete insult.
I totally agree with you. That's a very good point. You know, why are you suffering for a crime that he committed? You know, he did something that was wrong. And by the way, lots of things went wrong here in this situation. And the way that our government deals with it, and unfortunately, I don't know what you guys think about it, the people who allowed these laws to go through were the people who we would believe are conservatives. You know, Republicans allowed this to happen in Florida. They say they're conservative. They say they believe in the Constitution. They say that they're for the Second Amendment. But those are the people that allowed this to go through. There's, you know, you always have Democrats in Florida trying to push gun control through. Yeah, well, yeah. Freudian slip. But you always have them trying to push stuff through, right? However, this happened because of Republicans. Republicans can fully own the gun control that has now gone into effect in Florida. I believe the age thing is already in effect in October. We're going to have the rest of it go in. You know,
I was looking. Well, whenever it was SB 7026, I believe that's the title of the bill. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at all of my representatives in Gainesville. Like I'm from the Panhandle of Florida. And I looked at the list, and I want to say about 100% of the representatives from the Panhandle voted against it. So all of those people there, you know, classic conservatives. But it was funny. All of the Republicans in this area voted for this bill.
Except
Keith Perry, Clemens, and Rick Scott. You had the House Speaker Corcoran also voted for it. What was funny was that Clovis Watson, the Democrat, voted against this bill. But I wouldn't get too excited for him, but it was because he pretty much said that, oh, this doesn't go far enough. That's the only reason that he didn't vote for it.
Right. Plus, he knew he was going to go through anyway. Go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, we actually we interned for Congressman Ted Yoho.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And he was one of the people that sided against it. And then on a newspaper, they said that he sided with the extremists because he was one of the few conservatives that didn't bend. You know?
Oh, yeah, he's A+ in NRA.
It was hilarious. Everyone at the office was talking about it. It's very funny.
Yeah, we know Ted Yoho around here. I think he's a good guy. Unfortunately, we also know Keith Perry around here, and he voted for this. And actually, Keith Perry is responsible for this being able to come out of committee. He could have killed this in the committee. He not only voted for it, he allowed this bill to live, and we're going to hold him accountable for that. Absolutely. What would you guys say? You know, I'll start with you, Victor. what would you say to these guys who are supposed to be Republicans, conservatives, etc.? What would you say to them? What if they were here and you could talk to them and they would listen to you? What would you say?
I would say, on one hand, I understand why they did it, because they need to be pragmatic in government in order to accomplish some things that they want to accomplish. But this is one thing that you did not want to bet on, because this is your voter base. This is part of what Republicans stand for, for First Amendment, Second Amendment, and you guys really stepped on the ball. And I will definitely be not voting for you again.
Awesome. Now, what about you, Tiffany? What would you say to these guys?
All right. Well, I sent them all a message before this bill. I trust me, I harassed every single one of my representatives on this one. And if I were to speak to them now, I would say, similar things like, okay, yes, something has to happen, because I mean, of course, kids are being killed in schools. That's not something that's okay. But there is a way to look at this problem correctly, and the one that you put forth was not, and I let you know ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So, it's extremely disappointing that they voted in favor of this bill. And I think the big thing is to look at the primaries, because these guys are going to be up for re-election. Obviously, if I were to choose, if that person were to go up in the general election between a Democrat and a Republican, I'd have to look at all the views, obviously, but I would definitely be weighing hard on the primaries, especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just to get a real conservative in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it would be a good thing if we could replace these guys with true conservatives, true people that will uphold the Constitution and specifically defend the Second Amendment. It would be great if we could do that. One of the problems that we're facing here is the way that politics work. And I think that part of that's the Republican Party. There's lots of people that dropped the ball here, and the Republican Party did not hold these guys' feet to the fire before they did this. They didn't try to guide them. They didn't try, or maybe they didn't care about us. And so one of the things that I'm already seeing is that the Republican Party is planning on supporting these guys and not supporting anyone running against them in the Republican Party. So it would be great to get alternatives, maybe someone from an independent party running. I would rather, I always tell people to go vote. You should absolutely go vote. Okay, don't waste your vote. I know what it is for being someone that came to America and had to fight to get my citizenship. I appreciate the ability to vote, but I'm telling you that there's nothing that these guys who voted yes for this thing can do to get me to vote for them. I will rather go there and write in someone. Yeah. Trump. Whoever you want to put in there, I ultimately will not support them, even if that means in the end liberals or Democrats get into those positions. You know why? Because what they did basically showed us that they're liberals, they're Democrats.
Pretty much.
So why pretend? If that's who's in there, that's who's in there. I wish I could put stronger people in there, but apparently I don't know if you guys see this, but I think that and I don't know how closely you looked at politics a couple of years ago. I know you're young folks, but when you had Obama in the White House and when you had liberals in the White House.
Oh, no, don't go there. Don't go there.
Well, think about this. People fought more. People were more awake, they focused, they looked at what was going on. What we have right now is apathy here in Florida. Can you, I would have never in my wildest dreams, if someone would have said to me a month ago, Florida is going to put in gun control, I would have said, you guys are out of your minds.
Yeah. Well, I would say the same thing about Alabama, about a Democrat winning the Senate seat. Granted, that entire race was absolutely awful, but I kid you not, maybe less than an hour lower, south of Alabama. Mm-hmm. And if you were to tell me that a Democrat were to take a Senate seat, in 2016, I would have said no way. That's Trump country over there. So it's very important, especially in these 2018 midterm elections. And again, I would heavily emphasize the primaries, especially considering in Florida what just happened, to really just keep on fighting. It's going to be a long fight. You can't stop there. Trump, it doesn't end with Trump.
Yeah. And then one thing I wanted to add is that, I kind of disagree with you on what you said, that it shows that they're liberals. I don't think so, but it just shows to me that they're weak, that they just go, okay, the Democrats want a gun bill, appeasement. Okay, done. You know what I mean? Which shows that they shouldn't be in those places anyways, because they don't represent us.
Okay, I think that's a good point you're making. Absolutely. I think you're making a good point there. So then that brings me to this question. Like, how do we know? You know, how do we know who's really on our side? What's the test for this? And what can we do to get people who are true conservatives, who truly, you know, believe in the Constitution and then get our support and that they deserve our support? What should we do about that?
Well, for one, if you really don't like the incumbent, encourage someone else to run. You know, I have a friend of mine over in Oklahoma that said that he almost, you know, decided to run for city commission or something like that. And if you like, even if you don't like the people, there's nothing stopping you from running yourself. You know, so if you feel like you know, believe in the Constitution and that you would be a good candidate, then go run yourself. All
right. When are you gonna run?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, Victor. Thanks. You beat me to it. Yeah. Yeah, Tiffany. No, when are you gonna run?
Oh yeah. Let me just graduate first, please.
Okay. I understand that. I understand.
And don't vote for Amal Jathwani. He's a U.S. student right now, and he's running for the 21st district seat. And
oh my God, this is the biggest joke.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, cool. So, do you guys ever have any? I know you're doing different majors outside of you know, politics and stuff like that. Would you guys consider running? Would you consider, Tiffany? And what about you, Victor?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking that maybe later in life I would run for some sort of government back in Brazil, because, you know, I sort of living there in the early years and looking at it from an outside perspective, I see a lot of the issues that are going on in the country, you know, especially with corruption and just how the politicians handle themselves. And you know, taking from an American perspective, you know, from, I guess, an outsider looking in, as still somebody who really cares about the country, I think I could do a lot there. But, you know, maybe I'll start here.
Absolutely. I think that's a good answer. When I was a kid, I always thought about things like that. Like, I always wondered, I left Guyana when I was 5. And I always thought, you know, why did I leave the place that I came from? Because I thought it was really tough to find someplace in the world. We traveled around a little bit, you know, that I felt at home. And, you know, I was like, maybe I'll go back and I'll try to do something about it. And then I came to America. And what I realized is that if we lose America, the rest of the world falls.
It's gone. That is absolutely true.
So it's more important to me. I would rather, if I spend the rest of my life fighting for freedom in America, and I could never do that for people in Guyana or any of the other places that I lived around the world, you know, it would be unfortunate, but I'll be happy to spend my life fighting for freedom in America. Yeah. Because without this, the rest of the world is pretty much doomed.
Absolutely. And you bring up a good point too. That reminds me, when I went back to Brazil this summer, this was my second time back, I realized something. Before I left, Brazil pretty much worshipped America, as, you know, a lot of other countries in South America do. Mm-hmm. But this time it was different. The media was on the side of the crazy liberals. You know, one thing that really shocked me was they were talking about Jeff Sessions or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Jeff Sessions, he looks like he has Dumbo ears," or just something really stupid like that. The biggest like broadcasting network in Brazil, and then you look back at it, and then, you know, you saw that, you know, Obama visited Brazil and he met with Globo, and, you know, I'm sure I don't know if Hillary was there, but, you know, it's like you could see those influences sort of seeping through, and it's unfortunate, but I think you're right. We need to stay here because they still very much look up to this country. They just don't quite understand the Trump era yet. But I think if we sort of keep going and show that we're still fighting for freedoms, maybe they'll catch on.
Honestly, with Brazil, it sounds like George Soros is invading Brazil.
Honestly.
Yeah. That's happening all over the world. And yeah, definitely it's happening in South America. There's you know, it's just easier. The experiment that has grown into America, I don't think has happened anywhere else in the world. and probably will never happen anywhere else in the world. And that's the thing about it. And it's made up of not just the people who were here originally and the people who came here and founded what is America. You know, it's also made up of those of us who are born here and who come to America now. And especially when we leave other countries around the world that are really messed up. And that's why we're leaving. Like Brazil, you know, you're talking about a paradise. Brazil, it technically is a paradise. Why would people leave there and come to America to find a life? Because it's not perfect. The location might be, but it itself is not perfect. So people come here. And then what happens is a lot of people come here and then try to make America into the places that they left and they came to. And, you know, that's the thing I think that we always have to look out for and make sure that doesn't happen, because this experiment is not taking place anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Just another point that I wanted to bring there. You know, as I guess a Latino conservative, which is hard to find these days, you know, except maybe for Cubans and Venezuelans, but a lot of other people that I meet from South America, they still find themselves on the left side of politics, but none of them know why. If you question, you know, somebody from South America, and you go in it from an open-endedness, like, oh, you know, do you like your rights to sort of speak freely, something that, first of all, no other country has in the world, but, you know, do you like the right to have guns, or, you know, just other things that is sort of that's something that came out of America. They tend to side with conservatism, but they just don't know it. And it just really, it aggravates me when you know, people come here and they essentially, like you said, try to make it their countries back at home, and they try to institute the same policies that destroyed their homelands, you know. Absolutely.
I think I 100% agree with you on that. Very well said. Also, there's lots of people here, if you really talk to them and what they believe, I find that amongst Black people here in America, right? What they really believe, if you talk to them behind closed doors with no one else looking, they are really conservatives. These are people who believe in God. They go to church. You know, they would like to be able to defend themselves, because they think that they have enemies out there, which we all have enemies out there, and that people are not exactly on their side. So they're like, hey, I want to be able to defend myself. But when they go to vote, they vote completely contrary to what they say every day in the lives that they try to live. So it's a little bit crazy. Okay, so Tiffany, we didn't let you answer.
That question. What was it? Which question?
I don't even know. Oh, you know what? I think we were talking about would you run for office? I know we alluded to that a little bit before.
Maybe I've had a lot of people ask me that question. Fun fact: whenever I was in high school, I won a small scholarship with the Republican Women Group, and that, I guess you would say, would be my first real step into politics. I've always been very outspoken about my views. And in the primaries, I love Ted Cruz. I really, really liked him in the primaries. I also grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, so that's maybe a little bit there.
Okay.
But I had a bunch of people ask me then, you know, if I'd ever run for office. I have a bunch of people asking me now if I'd ever run for office. So it's a question that's been coming up. I have to consider it. I'm going to focus one step at a time right now. First, just get my degree, hopefully debt-free with biomedical engineering, and just go from there.
I would definitely vote for you, because I know you don't bend on issues.
And that's good. So listen, here's what I will tell you guys. Absolutely, you know, you're very young right now, believe it or not. You might not believe that, but you are, and the whole world is in front of you. And this time is really going to be a small window in your life when you're going to college, you know? And I would say definitely take advantage of that, get your degrees, but no matter what you do in life, whether you're incredibly successful or, you know, all those kinds of awesome things, you still have to live in the world. And people are making the world every day. Those people are called politicians. And one of the problems that we have is these people they don't fix problems for us, they create problems. And so if we have this kind of understanding that I think we have, just talking to you guys and seeing what the folks out there are saying, if you think this way, especially if you're a young person, I think you should consider being active and being politically active. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to run. And I know you guys are already doing this, right? You work for Ted Yoho. You're politically active. You're taking chances. You're getting up here, not just with me. I've seen you guys on CNN, CBS, all kinds of news. You're putting yourselves out there, and I know that's a tough thing. We're going to talk about some of that, but you have to do it because the world is being built that you're going to live in, and you need to play a part in that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I would especially take a big look at my generation because, my generation is the, SJWs and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately. So I think especially in the next few years, like something Ronald Reagan said is that freedom is only one generation away, right? So if you look at my generation, like I'm a little freaked out of my generation. So especially if you're going to be active politically, you also have to be educated politically. And you're going to have to talk with people that, like if you're going to get conservatives in office to take away the government infringing on people's rights from right and left, you're going to have to convince people that conservatism is the way to go.
Right.
And that's something that's going to be more and more important, especially I think politicians will have to do it more as you come around, and not just people like Ben Shapiro. I think politicians and people in office are going to actually have to go out and convince their constituents of why they support this, why this is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, being politically active, I think you'd have to expand it from just being politically active in your own group, but you also have to expand to other groups as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's true. We have to show people why, because, you guys probably think you're alone. I know that when I was your age, I thought I was alone. And believe it or not, I thought like this when I was your age.
Yeah.
Because I know there's things that change, and maybe, we see things differently when we get older, when we start working and paying taxes and all of that. But what people don't realize is that mostly human beings are born into this world, and we see the world in a certain way, and we think that way, and we do it for our entire lives.
Yeah.
Right. So you may think you're alone here, but you're not really alone. The problem, what's happening is that most human beings want to be cool. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to create. So they're looking at something. And a lot of that is the mirror to a lot of that in our society is media, movies and TV and the news and things like that. I think younger people tend not to look at the news so much, but what you see in movies and on television, and they look at that and they think, oh, even though I can tell in my heart that that's not right, I'm going to do that because I want to be cool.
Oh, yeah. I think you hit on it very well. Like people are like, people like to be entertained a lot of times, and you have Hollywood pretty much being the dominant circle over there. And especially, don't get me wrong, I love Disney to death, but oh my gosh, I'm so furious with them lately, especially with the things that they've been putting in like kids TV shows and like normal movies that you would expect to not be political but are.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll politicize everything to put in their market, but it's not just the people. It's not just looking at something on TV or something like that and looking at it. It's like, oh, that's not good, I'm going to do it anyway. It's also a subtle message, I guess you would say, some sort of indoctrination of like, forgetting the old ways, go the new way, and all that kind of stuff. And it's always subtle, but I'm always seeing it, and it's just like, no, come on, stop. I just want a good story.
And personally, I think it comes down to sort of the secularization of America, and especially, in the media, where you don't have to necessarily believe in God. I mean, we personally do very strongly, but I think America was built on Judeo-Christian values, and they try to hide that and say that, like, oh, the founding fathers were racist. They had slaves, haha, the Constitution, burn it,
Mm-hmm.
So I just think we have to always go back to, first of all, the founding beliefs and the founding values that America has and where they came from, which, is from the Bible, from, like I said, Judeo-Christian religions. And I think right now the media is trying to very much pass this idea that, hey, like, if you believe in God, that's lame, it's some invisible being in the sky, and they don't really, there's no I don't see a lot of Christian things on TV anymore.
Yeah,
Whether that's just
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only place that they drop that is when it comes to Islam, right? Which, believe it or not, you know, even though we've got some issues with Islam, when it comes to Islam, they say, no, those guys have the right to do it. We're not going to mess with them, but we're going to mess with Christians.
Oh,
you know?
I mean, the #1 persecuted group in the entire world is actually Christians.
Right.
That's
At
something.
this point.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a simple fact, and it's especially in Muslim countries. You look at Somalia. Like I actually got to meet a couple missionaries from Somalia, and they will tell you that, you know, like a bunch of people will try and communicate with these leaders from Somalia, and then the leaders from Somalia will just turn around and just come in and even harsher on the missionary groups that are actually with the people. So it's extremely frustrating that people don't show that, because they always say like, oh, Islamophobia. And it's like, okay, yeah, like it's like people that are Muslims have the right to come to this country, but at the same time, they're not the ones that are like they're not the ones that are being persecuted so much.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
And, also another thing that I wanted to add is that you know, I think it's an American sort of idea, an American pastime activity, you would say, to sort of think critically of things, hopefully. And when it comes to Islam, you know, you can't criticize Islam. You can't talk about anything. You can't associate anything. And you've got people like Masjid Nawaz, like Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who are sort of these Muslim leaders that have either come out of the religion entirely, disassociated themselves, you know, call themselves heretics, or they take a step back and say, hey, there are great things about this religion that, you know, that was founded on, but we need to disassociate it from the medieval times, you know, the bloodshed, which and from, you know, from the Prophet Muhammad that, you know, committed heinous crimes at the time. We just have to sort of disassociate it and sort of create sort of like a New Testament, like you have in the Bible. But, you know, those two people that I mentioned, they are actually on the Southern Poverty Law Center's list for radical groups.
Yeah, and that's the irony. That people are picking and choosing who they're going to support here. When America was built on, and I'm not saying that it was perfect, because we know that nothing has ever been perfect, and America definitely hasn't been. But it was built on religious freedom, and it's a place that, you know, that lots of people from around the world came to so that they can practice their different religions. But what's happening right now is that I think in the media especially, they're picking out religions that they're going to leave alone and let them do whatever they want to. And then other people that have faith, they're going to go, shame on you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, so they like to find their people that they can, say, okay, let's pick this group. We're going to victimize them. And then we're going to make them vote for us. And that's just kind of what they've been doing. They did that too. They did that to the black population in the 1960s, and now they're just doing it to the Dreamers now, and the Muslims today, and all that kind of stuff. It's just incredibly frustrating.
Right, absolutely. So, okay, Walter has joined us. So, welcome, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Hey.
Thanks for coming in here. Now, Walter's probably going to get set up. So let me just remind everyone to thumbs up. So I'm going to try to get through to a couple of things. I want to ask you guys some questions really quick, and then I'm going to take questions from the audience that we have out there. Can you tell us about YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, how it started? Is this a countrywide thing? Is it just here in Florida? Or is it just a UF? What's going on there?
All right. Well, Young Americans Foundation has been around for a very long time. Actually, Ronald Reagan was a fellow over there. He supported the organization and everything. And fun fact that Young Americans Foundation is actually the group that currently owns the Ronald Reagan Ranch over in California. Like, they take care of his property. It's really fascinating.
Interesting.
And that is the overarching. That's pretty much like the HQ, so to speak. Young Americans for Freedom is a project of Young Americans Foundation. Like you said, like, you know, Young Americans Foundation is the parent, we're the children. And there are chapters all over the country. And we have one at UF. You know, we met several people at University of Alabama. There's a lot in California. There's they're all over the place. And
yeah,
so,
Walter's son is actually in the chat. We call him Will Killer Keller, and he said he did some YEF stuff while he was at UCF.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually I don't know somebody from there, but in YAF headquarters, they praise the UCF YAF chapter a lot because they do a lot of creative activism stuff.
Oh, cool. So how big is the chapter at UF?
Yeah, you want to talk on that?
Yeah, people, it comes down to two different numbers, and one of them matters to SG. The number of people that have been sort of in and out actively or not throughout our inception, which is, it's going to be a year ago now, has been about 300 people. But you have people that have actively come in and continue to come in and are very dedicated like us. And that's about 30 to 45 people. And, just looking at the sheer numbers, that's a pretty big group of young individuals, that we've sort of gathered in 1 year.
Yeah, so that's good. So the reason why I'm asking you, and I like I said, I'm going to let people ask questions and stuff like that. But we heard that you guys got defunded recently, and then people said, well, no, that's like fake news. It didn't happen. So can we have that discussion here? What happened? Did you guys get defunded? What's going on?
All right. Well, I guess the better word was that we've never been funded before, and they refuse so far funding for us. The laws at SG are extremely complicated.
What's SG?
SG student government, my mistake.
Right.
Student government funding is extremely complicated. For new groups, you have to be pretty much working on something that we call allocations. You have to be working on allocations for an entire year. And then after that, you can apply to be on the budget cycle, where you can have your own budget and you can have it, whenever you want. We asked for a pretty good sum, but like a reasonable sum about a money, and just to have our own budget, just to say, hey, we have this money, we can use it whenever we want. We don't have to wait for 3 months to get a paycheck from student government, and at least it's guaranteed funding. And they've been changing their answer as to whether or not, like, why they don't want to give it to us. We're definitely fighting that as much as we can. I can't speak too much on it, but yeah, it's definitely a process.
Sounds like the IRS. And
Yeah,
it's the same people that run it.
Yeah.
Dude,
And so are they, so what's going on here with UF student government? They're funding other organizations, obviously, right? At UF?
Yes.
Okay, but they're giving you guys a hard time to get funded. Is that true?
Yeah, and one thing that it's interesting. Yes, we asked. The amount of money that we asked, we felt was representative to our active group. The active people that come out to the meetings, that go to the events, etc. And we, if you go to other groups on campus, they're not as active. They maybe do one big event a year, and they have maybe 13 to 20 people show up to their meetings, and they get a pretty big amount of money. And the funny thing is, SG didn't say to us, hey, we think this is too much money, or we think, they just flat out said, no, we're not giving you guys any money because of yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So they made up some reasons. So if you guys don't get funded, what happens here? Does this chapter have to break up? What happens?
Oh, definitely. We're not breaking up. You probably just have to be on allocations, for a whole nother year, which is what allocations is pretty much, it is a very long bureaucratic process where you plan an event that you want to have 3 months ahead of time. And then you have to wait 2 months. You apply for the funding. So let's say you want $2,000 from student government to pay for this event 3 months ahead of time. You have to wait 2 months to hear back from them. And then in 2 months, you'll hear whether or not you got the funding. And then if you got the funding, you got the funding, great. Then it has to be voted on in the Senate. Senate usually approves those, and then it goes on. You have it. Eventually, you eventually have it. Like student government will have it pocketed, saved up, and then once the event actually occurs, they give it to you. You pay for it. And then if you don't have it, then you obviously have to appeal. You have to go to meetings, try to fix the situation, yada yada yada. and you're always on this time crunch for your deadline for your event that you want to have.
And they know that.
Yeah.
Huh?
And they know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they definitely do. They definitely do. The advantage of having your budget is that you have the money, it's in your own account, it's ready to go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you cut the strings from them where you guys could bring in people if you wanted to have like a Ben Shapiro or, you know, like a Lauder or Crowder or whatever cool people that, you know, could come in. If they pull the strings, they could always, you know, keep changing the rules on you and pushing you around.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, the problem is that they don't really like to define their terms a whole lot.
Just like the real government.
Yeah.
Just like the leftists.
yeah.
Assault.
Well, they are leftists. I mean, that's kind of what they are.
So so 2 questions and then I'm gonna go. So people start hitting me up with the questions for these guys, and I'll take questions from the audience here. But just 2 quick questions. Has this affected morale, and is there anything you can do or that we could do to help you guys reinstate the funding?
Well, this definitely has not, you know, I guess you say deflated morale. We're definitely fighters, every single one of us. I mean, just this past, like, I think it was a week ago, we held up signs in Turlington pretty much saying, "Dear criminals, we have taken away all defensive measures for your convenience."
Gun-free zone.
You know, like protesting gun-free zones. And, you know, we encounter these liberals every single day. So we're definitely used to it by this point. And Danny, our wonderful president, is big fighter. He knows how to fight these battles. So I'm very I've got a lot of faith in him. Whenever it comes to what you guys can do, I don't know what you guys can do as far as SG goes, but we always welcome donations of any sort if you guys want to help fund us.
Hey, if you know, if there's any listeners out there that know any like big UF donors or something, you can holler at them and be like, "Hey, this group's not getting funding. What's going on here?"
Absolutely. Yes. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so let me start with Walter. Do you have any questions for these guys?
So my son, when he was involved in the stuff at UCF, he came away really disillusioned when the with the elections and the lack of attention they got from the Republican Party. You know, they're trying to do stuff and they're treating them like they're dirt, you know, and he just came away disillusioned with the whole process. You know, especially the party, you know, and that don't let that happen. But don't surprise if it happens. But you know, because they didn't treat them very well. You know, it just they're not. They figured they weren't important or something, and they just, you know, oh well, you guys.
Well, here's the thing. I think is where our YAF chapter is different. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we started fighting, and everyone that's in that group today is used to it, and it actually kind of fires us up a little bit. You know, if, you know, whenever something like this comes up, we're sort of excited because it's something else that we can fight for. So I don't think it has affected morale that much, because, you know, there's things that we can do that, you know, with YAF headquarters, they have a lawyer over there that fights for constitutional rights. So there's always sort of a backup, but you know, every time UF or student government tries to start something with us, we always have a way to fight him back. So we're not too worried as of right now. But we'll see what happens.
I think his disillusion, they were disillusioned with the Republican Party in general, not so much the student part of it, but the big guys.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
One thing about YAF to know is that we are technically a 501c3 status, which means that we are non-political. So we cannot talk like if we represent YAF, we are not saying like Republicans versus Democrats.
It's conservative.
We can't we can support Trump ourselves, but as a group, we can't support Trump because of because we're a 501c3 status. If you were to donate money, you would actually get, you know, it's tax deductible for that reason. But I would say that we are definitely conservative, and whenever it comes to the Republican Party, I think it's very important for them to start stepping it up. You know, especially with the younger generation, because they look at us like, oh, we're a hopeless generation sometimes, but especially whenever you have people becoming citizens as well, that like they have not just kind of like shied away from the younger generation so much. And that whenever we speak about the younger generation being involved in politics, I would say the Leadership Institute has been doing a very good job about that, like really gaining younger generation momentum into the polls, getting them active into the Republican Party, and getting conservatives in there. Oh shoot, I forgot what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's okay. You've been
That's
doing
what happened when you're excited.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about immigration. Okay.
Yeah.
But also with the Republican Party is that whenever you have right outside the immigration office, like my mother was an immigrant. She was born and raised in France. And I've been speaking with a bunch of immigrants about this particular issue, is that right whenever they become naturalized, like U.S. citizens, there's always a Democrat booth waiting right outside. And the Republicans are never there.
Welcome to America.
Because I think a lot of times they're scared of their shadow, to be quite honest with you. They think if they're pushy, oh my God, we can't be pushy.
Well, you got to fight for those guys. I'm serious. Like most of those immigrants are probably they probably think very conservatively. They just don't know it.
Right. Well, once again, like you were saying earlier, they have those ideas, but they think, well, for whatever reason, they go the other way, and they don't realize they need to, step away from the dark side, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to use the same tools that the other side is using. This is a war. All's fair in love and war.
Truth. The truth is the best thing you can do. You can hit them with the truth.
Let's go. Let's arm ourselves.
Well, that's another thing. You come from France, for example, or you come from South America, whatever. You get here. Guess what? You're a citizen now. You go get a gun. Yeah, do that at home.
Absolutely.
As long as you're over 21.
Yeah. And by the way, Tiffany, that handgun that I sent over to you, the one that is French. Am I wrong?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Let me see.
It's a FN. Go ahead, show it to
No,
Walter.
it's from Belgium. Sorry,
Belgium.
Yeah,
it's Belgium. Okay, there you go. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I was like close. The same country.
It's close. No, not really. No.
Definitely European.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm just looking at it. It's like I don't see French. I see Belgium.
Yeah, it's Belgium.
It's
what French guns are there, Walter?
They got the FAMAS, which is the
FAMAS. Okay.
There are some, but you just don't see that many of them here in the States.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I believe French guns have a little white flag that comes out.
Good one. Okay, so listen. One thing I want to tell you guys, if in this fight that you guys have, if you ever feel discouraged, if you ever feel blocked in things like because it's not going to stop. These guys are going to keep doing it to you. Whatever we could do, you guys should let us know what we can do to help you.
Oh, thank you. We need all the support we can get, honestly.
Well, first things first, since you're Gainesville based, next speaker that we fought for and he's coming is Dinesh D'Souza.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah. And he's coming on
April 12th.
April 12th at 7:30 on.
And it's free and open to the public. So if you guys want to come.
Do you think there's going to be a protest?
Yeah, but
it'll be fun.
Yeah, but hey, last time we had Ben Shapiro, and like I said, we had a sold out venue, hundreds of people outside the door, and we had about 15 to 20 protesters. And then, Fake News Alligator, which is the school's newspaper, the next day publishes 750 protesters and students show up to to the event. And it's like, come on.
I think the funniest thing is that half of those protesters were people protesting the protesters.
Yeah.
So like you have people saying like Ben Shapiro's a racist, he's whatever, and it's really funny because he's an anti-Semite, and in the day
he's Jewish.
He's Jewish, yeah.
That was probably the funniest argument, and then you have other people saying that snowflakes melt in the swamp and all that kind of stuff. So
there's a lot.
Those 20 protesters, and only half of them were maybe actually protesting.
If you notice something about protesters that show up to these things, they have like recycled signs, like signs that don't even apply to the speaker directly. So they're just there.
Yeah. And someone buses them in. I mean, you guys are having a hard time getting funding, but someone's definitely funding those guys. The Tyven Show asked this question. He wants me to ask you guys if you've considered t-shirt sales to help raise money.
With SG, if we specifically cannot do it for student government reasons.
Okay.
It's get approved probably, right?
Yeah, if we were to get the t-shirts through student government, then we cannot get it for sales.
Well,
as for outside of student government funding, maybe to the public, but not to UF students.
Oh, okay. So you have to walk a very fine line there.
Yes,
okay.
Because,
go ahead. All right. So let me hit up some questions. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. I'm pretty much done with it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take some comments and questions from the audience here. DC2 Mega Boost says Victor kind of looks like Tom Hanks.
What?
I've gotten a lot of different ones. I've gotten
he's a lot better looking than Tom Hanks, I think. He's a good looking kid.
Tom Hanks is a leftist too.
Yeah. Now I don't know if Tom Hanks visit Brazil. I don't know. No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not
Brazil
gonna say.
loves Tom Hanks. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Tom Hanks. You know, he leans real left, but his movies are all real pro USA.
Very American.
Soldiers
Yes, I love
and killing Germans and all this stuff with guns. But
let me give you a little clue, Walter. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's all about the dollars, you know.
Yeah, it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the money.
And then they've got real conservative actors like what's that guy in the Last Man Standing?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
No. Wait a second. No, this one I know. Last Man's. Tim Allen. You're talking about the TV show. Yeah,
Tim Allen.
Yeah. No, I thought you were talking about Bruce Willis, who was also in a movie called Last Man Standing, and he is kind of conservative. Yeah.
He's like. I've been told he's an introvert in real life, so he doesn't like to talk about that kind of stuff. But
Tim Allen?
No. Gosh, no. He's such an extrovert. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we got to figure out exactly where Bruce Willis is at. I thought he was like pro-gun and all that kind of stuff.
I think he's a little bit more conservative. I just think he's less spoken about it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He still wants to make movies. Chris Pratt. I think Chris Pratt is conservative. I know.
Definitely. That man's totally a conservative. Awesome. He went on to like the Jimmy Kimmel show. And you know how Jimmy Kimmel always likes to blast conservatives and all that kind of stuff. And Ben Shapiro always roasts the man alive. That's always really fun. But Chris Pratt actually subbed for Jimmy Kimmel one time and never made one political comment. It was pure humor and it was great. And that's something that just showed me. It's like, okay, this is a classy guy and he's probably conservative. So
yeah, Chris Pratt is awesome. He's an awesome dude.
I love that man.
I'm a fan of his. Okay, let's hit up some other stuff here. Walter, if you see any questions that I'm missing, let me know. Screaming Skull Saloon wants to know if you guys are GOA members, Gun Owners of America. Are you guys aware?
Currently not. I'm not a GOA or NRA member of any sort. I've been told that I really need to do that like ASAP. So
as soon as I acquire my first gun.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, you know what? We need to figure out how to get you guys into the GOA. So,
yes, definitely. And I believe we talked about concealed carry lessons or something like that. So
yeah. You got you and everyone else at YAF, you guys already have concealed. Whenever you're ready for the lessons.
Yeah, Patrick said he'd do it.
Yeah. Got you covered.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Guns is gonna take care of that one. You know, and Babyface said he would cover you guys. Okay, let's see. But we'll get you into the GOA actually through. I have a link here in my description that you can get into the GOA. It's $15 a year to be a member of Gun Owners of America. But we'll get you guys in there. Darth Mayhem wants to know how do people donate to YAF?
Donate to YAF. That is a very good question. Honestly, right now, since that's a little bit of a tricky aspect since we do not have a budget. So primarily, I would have to say by check, and you can send it to.
You can send it to Young America's Foundation. That's our parent, and then just mention that it's for the UF chapter, and they'll hook us up.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
and if you send it to the Young America's Foundation, it'll be in Reston, Virginia. The address will be over there, but it'd also be tax deductible. So fun fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And I want to remind people, as soon as we get through these questions, I am giving away these 2 hats. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get Tiffany and Victor to help me give away these hats.
All right.
They are the ones. They're going to go on. One of them's going to go. Well, they're going to both go on Instagram and look at different things, and they're going to help me give away the hats. So that's
Tiffany reminds me of. We're talking about reminded me of the Verizon girl.
The Verizon girl?
The Verizon,
the one that does advertising for Verizon. If I'm not, it's Verizon. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think she's prettier though.
Well, of course, you know.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? You're gonna have to get your own collection of guns, Victor.
Absolutely. Hopefully, Big Daddy Guns is gonna help me get started.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, anytime you want guns and you go in there, just ask for the Hank Strange discount.
And you have to pay twice as much then.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
That's not. Yeah, it's not really true. There you go. Hold up your not French gun.
Not French gun.
Yeah.
Damn it! I have a French gun too. I should get.
Yeah, Walter. Do you have? Yeah, get out a French gun, Walter.
Give me. I gotta get. Okay. I gotta move the bazooka out of the way.
Okay, yeah, get the bazooka. These kids want
Get the bazooka out of the way.
They want to see the bazooka. Go ahead and get that. I'm gonna hit up the rest of the.
Just real quick, MP5.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
Big MPX.
Yeah, these are German. These are German guns.
Oh, those are gonna be
This
good.
is Czech. This
That's
is the CZ Bren.
the Bren. Very nice. Very nice.
I have a couple guns, so like
A
your
couple.
dad. Yeah, I have a couple, yeah.
He's got a lot of guns. One of these days, Walter's a manufacturer, and he also has some machine guns. So maybe we'll make
Go for a
plans.
shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can come to my place out to the hacienda. Walter will be there. Have either of you guys shot full auto yet?
No.
I might have.
Why?
well,
Wait a minute. That's like
you would know this.
It's either you did or you didn't.
yeah, you would know this.
It's kind of like I don't want to say it's like kind of like having sex. Either you did or you didn't.
Hey, listen, her dad might be watching this, and Victor's life is in the balance right now.
Well, I'm not.
You see his face?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Let's not get him unduly.
All right. Sorry. Yes or no? That's all it is. No.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what?
It's
Trust
fired
me.
multiple. It's fired multiple rounds in one trigger in one trigger shoot. So yes.
Yes. But
Okay. There you go.
guess what? After you come shoot with us, and someone asks you if you've shot full auto, you will know the answer.
You will know the difference.
Yeah.
There you go.
You will know
That's
the
the
answer.
one that the liberal media thinks all like these things do, right? They just spray bullets everywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, point that thing somewhere else.
There you go. See, make sure he maintains muzzle discipline over there. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Walter, if you're going to get those guns, I'm going to go into this right now. I'm going to remind everyone, please, guys, click the thumbs ups. I have no idea how many thumbs ups we have.
291.
291. Okay. I'm pretty sure we can get to 300 thumbs ups for the young
292.
Americans for freedom. We could get to 300. We could do 400. So let's get to 300 and let's keep going here. Let me get our music lover says it sounds like the schools are giving them the runaround. I think that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kitty, go ahead.
Actually, this is something that YAF headquarters deals with a lot. We're actually in an open. We're suing UC Berkeley for the Ben Shapiro event.
Okay.
That happened over there. I don't know the details too much, but essentially, they said you need to have a certain number of security guards and you have to pay for X, Y, and Z, which they didn't require for other schools. And then, even though they required security, we saw what happened there anyways, so because the police they were told to pretty much stand down. So we're in open
Yes.
lawsuit
If you see a
with them.
conservative organization suing a university, it's probably YAF.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then they're the ones that got him. That were trying to get him out to UF Berkeley, then, right? Or what is it?
Yeah, UC
UC Berkeley.
yes.
UC Berkeley. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good to know that. Okay. Let's see what else we got in here. Vanessa Kitty says, get the math and computer clubs to join. That's a good one. Let's see what else. Cyrus 308 says,
that's a full auto.
yeah. Let's see what Walter.
I saw the video of you and Hank shooting that. I think it was one of your videos.
I don't know if he can hear. We'll get him once he gets the gun set up. So Cyrus 308 says Lola Strange suggests to the young folks that they seek out a Pro 2A attorney to sue the student government for funding using bias against the student government board members. Do you guys do have an attorney, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, it's primarily for First Amendment rights, though. But he's very, very well read on the Second Amendment.
But
as well.
he's part of the Freedom Alliance, which does constitutional issues.
All right.
Okay.
Honestly, if I were to sue someone, I would sue the state for taking away 18 to 20-year-olds' rights to own a gun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, that needs to happen. That must happen. Okay. So wait, this is from.
I think the NRA is already doing that, though.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely, they are. Treadhead44 says, Tiffany, what is your dream gun? And we'll let Tiffany answer that. And then he didn't say it, but I want to know what Victor's dream gun is. But go ahead, Tiffany, you're first.
My dream gun? Oh, wow.
Let me pull up mine here.
Oh, pull up yours?
Yeah.
I'd have to say probably something like an AR-15, AK-47, but like dressed in red, white, and blue.
Okay, awesome. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. And you know, someone could make that happen. Okay, so Victor, what's your dream gun?
I think I told you about it. I was asking if I could possibly shoot it. I don't know if it's my.
Okay, go ahead. Is it a 22?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's my dream gun, but it's like my dream first gun. Let's see if I can find it here. It was.
Yeah, that's probably my answer too. First gun. You know, got to get the. Yeah, got to get my own first gun first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think you were talking about, was it the Smith & Wesson? No, was it?
No, it was the Ruger Mark IV 2245 Light.
Yeah, the 2245 Light. Absolutely. Yeah. That's very doable. Let's see who else has got a question.
I know my dad has like my great grandfather or something has an old 35 Remington, and that's a beauty. That's a beauty.
Okay, so
very old.
Okay, so here's another question. Sparky's Cove LLC says, "What do you guys think about the Libertarian Party?"
Libertarian Party.
They're weak, to be honest.
Whenever it comes to libertarians, I think conservatives and libertarians agree on many issues. However, I think we would disagree on fundamental aspects such as you go a little bit more. I'm a classic. Like I said, I'm a classic conservative, so I believe in marriage between a man and a woman. I don't think the state has the right to define marriage because I believe that marriage is a religious sacrament. That's the word. That's the word I was kind of using. And I believe that it should solely be between like a man and a woman. Like, however, I have a gay uncle. I love the man to death. I just think that it's wrong that, he does that. And I would also say that foreign policy is something that libertarians and conservatives disagree on. Both of my parents work for the Air Force now. And one of the things that my dad particularly works with, or at least worked with in the past, was seeing firsthand how our involvement in the Middle East pays off. Like, we give a lot of money in the Middle East, but our influence in the Middle East also pays back in the sense that the people that are our allies, like Israel and other countries over there, purchase equipment and weapons and all that sort of stuff from the United States as opposed to Russia. Because it's a very big battleground over there. So that's where, libertarians and conservatives, I guess you would say, would kind of vary. But on most social issues and the government getting off our backs and everything, I would say that we're very, very eye to eye on.
Okay, cool. And by the way, the Tyven Show says that he will pay for your GOA memberships.
Wow.
What?
So there
awesome.
you go. Yeah.
We'll take it.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so much love, you guys.
Yeah. So we'll make sure we'll get him your info and everything so he can pay for your GOA memberships. Let me see. Let me go through here, see what else.
I forgot how many guns I got.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly add, my biggest issue with the Libertarian Party is immigration. As a legal immigrant, I very much despise illegal immigration. I understand that some people don't have the resources to come here, but then I look at people and I'm sure there are others, but I very much admire my mother. She worked very, very hard to earn enough money to come here through the legal means, because she's a very Christian woman. She's a very righteous woman, and she wouldn't have done it any other way. And I just look at people like that and look at people that have gone through hardships and maybe crossed the border, and I don't see the same level of, I would say, respect from me, and I think we should be tougher on those people personally, and that's my biggest issue with the Libertarian Party.
A lot of those folks come here, and like we talked before, they want to live in France after they get here, or they want to live in Mexico, and they don't want to become part of the system or part of the country. And
I think I saw something where the Dreamers were going to protest Trump by moving back to Mexico.
Please.
No.
And I'm just like, okay, that solves the solution. Go for it.
I heard something so good the other day is if they build the wall, it'll actually save money from all the welfare and the problems with the illegals and the crime and everything else, you'll save money.
Oh, I also heard that he wanted to put solar panels on the wall. And that wall is right on Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. It's going to pay for itself with just energy.
Yeah.
But you know what that's about? That's about pissing the left off.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they can't. They'll. You can't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. 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 You know. What do you mean? You guys love that green stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make the wall out of solar panels. Okay. Let me get back. Let me get to the questions here because there are a ton of questions coming in.
Now,
please let me remind. I don't know where does anyone know where we're at number wise? Go ahead, Walter. I'm gonna lock it on you.
I just dug out every freaking gun I had to get this French rifle out. So. All right. This is a Moss 36 bolt action. French rifle. Yeah,
very nice. Okay,
it's actually a decent rifle, and the French did use them a little bit until the Nazis took over, and
Okay, and this is shooting, right? Is this?
Oh yeah, this works. I have ammo for it. It works. Yeah.
Okay, so when the YF kids come, they can shoot this. Especially Tiffany, she gets to shoot it first.
Yeah, we get to bust some caps. Right.
Yeah. Right. These from her ancestors when they used to be badasses and make guns and stuff. Like that,
a long time
ago. My family were actually,
what
they fought against the Germans.
Okay, very good, very
good. The French, they get a bad rap. Most of the time they did do all right. They just
I believe
their politicians. Their politicians were the capitalists. So
that's very true. You have I believe it's was it Charles de Gaulle? Or either Charles de Gaulle or Champs-Élysées, like one of those very famous streets in France is actually named for the general that led the French resistance in World War II. So
absolutely. Okay, so let's see here. And by the way, we are going to do that. We're going to do that Instagram thing. Baristopheles wants to know: will this get reposted on the YAF YouTube channel? He says it should. You guys are welcome, by the way, to download this video and repost it on your YouTube channel.
Sure. Our chapter doesn't have a YouTube. The foundation does, and they're very selective on what they put there. But this will definitely be on our social media.
Okay. Yeah. Let's not make any promises. Then they might not want to put it. Let's not make them have to to hold up to anything.
I love your people's fries.
Huh?
Tiffany, I love your people's fries.
Yeah, your people's fries. French fries. Those are American, damn it. Those are freedom fries.
Yeah, I was not born in France. My mother was.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there she is. She's only half French, but it's it's not a bad thing.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, John Dieter says, how about donation for a shirt? Let's see what else we got here.
Hey, well, if your listeners want, we have a couple brand new YEF shirt, Young America's Foundation shirt that you can maybe raise some funds for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah. I'll set up. I'll do something. I can tell you guys right now, I'll do whatever I can to help these guys. I guarantee you, if you guys need a place to do stuff and they won't let you do it at the university, you can do it here in this building. Whatever we can do to help you, you guys are welcome to come back here again in the future. We'll do whatever we can to help you guys. Walter says this all the time on the show. We need young people to stand up and fight for the Second Amendment. It can't just be us old fuddy-duddy dudes.
Right.
So
once again, it's that social media thing and the use of it, and that's what people do nowadays. So you gotta take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will work out on things. We will think about this. Kyle L says Bruce Willis's Last Man Standing was cool. One of the best movies. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's a pretty damn good gun movie. You should watch it.
I guess his new movie's got the left all riled up too.
Yeah,
which one?
That's a remake
of Death Wish.
Death Wish, yeah.
I heard good things about that one.
Yeah, it's like from what I've seen of it, it's up there with the Charles Bronson version, which is not easy to do. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what's going on here.
They want bazookas. They want bazookas.
John J. Washburn says, "Hey Hank, like the show. I know Opt Out. He got me into your show. Thank you very much. Opt Out of Gun Control, very cool dude." Kyle L says Willis is in the new Death Wish. Jean Javella says Kurt Russell, is he pro gun? I'm not sure where Kurt Russell is at. He's a cool dude.
Big Trouble, Little China.
Yeah. Kentucky Firearms wants Lola to check the messages. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Chris Nick of Earth says Chris Pratt is a funny bastard. Jane Doe says, why can't we help fund this organization? Maybe do one show a week where all super chat money goes to this. We're doing the show here and we don't have super chat going on, but we can figure out something to help these guys. And
real quick, I just wanted to address something. Laggy McLaggy asked a pretty good question. How do you join Young Americans for Freedom? Okay. And all you have to do is you call, first of all, the coolest number in the world. You call it's 1-800-USA-1776.
All right.
That's a real number.
That's the real number.
And that's the YAF headquarters number. And then you can speak to, you could say, like you can ask to talk to Kyle Farabee or Pat Coyle, or just call it and say, hey, I want to help me get started on my own chapter. Or, if you want to call and just say, hey, if you go to a college, and say, hey, are there any YAF chapters in my campus? You just call that number, 1-800-USA-1776, and then YAF headquarters will hook you up.
It also applies to high schools as well.
Yeah,
not just colleges. Most of the things that they do is colleges, but YAF chapters do apply to high schools as well, which we're seeing today with all the walkouts. We could use some YAF chapters in high schools.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They do awesome things. They take you to conferences. I know high schools, every year they have a big Reagan Ranch conference where they take them up to the Reagan Ranch, and these events are highly subsidized, and you kind of talk to them about your financial need. They might even pay for you entirely, which they have done with me a couple times. So they're just an awesome foundation, and just call that number and they'll help you guys out.
Yeah. So the thing about the super chat on our part is we don't have it because YouTube has to approve our partnership here on this channel. We haven't gotten that yet. They may never give it to us. But we will figure out a way to help you guys. I promise you that. We will figure out something to do to help you guys. Let's see who. So people are saying who's pro gun. Like someone said Tom Selleck. Someone else said Keanu.
Tom Selleck. There we go.
There you go. Keanu Reeves as well. Nick of Earth says right now any purchase at Copper Customs comes with a free GOA membership.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. DC2 Megaboost said Clint Eastwood. So there you go. We're getting the whole
makes sense.
He's caught a lot of crap. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So let's see.
People aren't perfect.
I think you recently saw Shaquille O'Neal say something about, gun control not being the answer, but arming the schools with the teachers and more police officers. So that's also interesting.
Yeah. He's stepping out. Yep.
You got some athletes in there stepping up.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Meatloaf Sandwich says, how many states have YAF?
Is it all 50 states?
No. It's definitely not all 50 states.
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them.
There's hundreds of chapters around. But hey, you want to call, if you call that number, I'm sure they'll give you the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to go through the questions here, see what else we have. Lots of comments of who you look like, Tiffany. Tiffany looks like Tiffany. That's what we're doing from now on.
Well, they started it with that, hey, you look like Tom Hanks thing, or you started it.
She's a beautiful young lady. And that's an awesome thing. It's great to have young people and some good looking, both of them very good looking. Yeah, if Tiffany, I hope your dad doesn't hear this, but if you guys have babies, the baby's going to be ugly.
Oh God!
And here's why I'm saying this: you get two good looking people together, ugly baby.
Oh, that's not true.
It happens every single time.
That's not true. My dad always said ugly breeds ugly. So it's like
no, I'm just teasing.
Hey Hank, were your parents beautiful?
No. I have to say my dad wasn't. My mom's pretty beautiful. That's where this comes from.
You get that big,
and thankfully for Lola, I'm the beautiful one, so that's why my sons are pretty good looking.
You married up.
No. I'm just teasing you guys. Okay, let's see what else we have going on here. Someone wants to know if the French make guns.
Yes. And
we just answered that question.
Yes. And they actually make pretty decent guns too,
Yeah. Then there's some jokes about that. Someone says no. Walter does have a bazooka. You do have a bazooka, Walter.
I was toting my bazooka around.
Oh, here we go. Here you go, guys. Check that out.
Well, it's deactivated, but yes,
Wow.
it's bazooka.
Yeah. We
Great
gotta
to have-
reactivate that bad boy for freedom.
Gosh, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go. Let's go right
Yeah.
now.
We gotta find an empty range.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, shoot at Hank's house. That'll get everybody away.
Yeah, you can shoot bazookas over there. Let's see.
And the Gestapo will be at my house the next day, so you know.
Yeah. Let's see. What is this? Tony London says, if you guys see a black Z06 outside with a Gator sticker on the hood, it's yours truly.
Oh.
All right. Well, no.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone asking a question if something is not full semi-auto. Do you guys even know about that? Yeah.
Something full semi-auto. Well, the definition of an automatic weapon is that you have to have multiple rounds per trigger pull.
Yeah.
So, like full semi-automatic weapons, you know, it's just full semi-automatic weapons. You only have one round per trigger pull.
That sounds like it doesn't exist.
No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't exist. It's the thing. You guys haven't seen this meme?
I have. Yeah, I have.
Yeah. It was on CNN. So there was a general. CNN found.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was funny. That guy was like.
Yeah. So basically, there was this general that
Chuck Norris. Why did we forget Chuck Norris?
That's true.
That's true. I can't believe we forgot Chuck Norris. Yes, Chuck Norris.
I see a lot of people saying Ted Nugent too. He's actually partnered with the AF, so we can bring Ted Nugent to campus if you want.
What?
Yeah.
That will shut down Gainesville.
Yeah.
If the Nugent is here, I call dibs on all the front row.
Sweaty Teddy.
Oh, you can have it.
Well, I do believe for the Dinesh D'Souza event, they want to, like, Daniel wants to kind of work on a system where people can purchase a ticket for front row, or like, you know, where you can like have a meet and greet with him.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a fundraiser that we're going to be doing for that event.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's tell Tiffany the story real quick.
Right,
what happened with the general? Go ahead, Victor.
Yeah. So basically, there was this general in that went on CNN to demonstrate to people how essentially guns function.
Okay.
And when he held the gun, he wasn't even looking through the scope. He was just like all over the place. He didn't know how to hold it. Everybody was calling him out on it. Obviously not CNN. And then he called a gun a full semi-automatic, which a gun's either a full automatic or a semi-automatic. It can't be both.
Not both.
Yeah. So what I think what happened there was so he had a regular semi-automatic AR that he was shooting, but he shot I think 5 rounds really fast. No, he shot them slow. He shot 5 rounds slow, and then he said to the reporter, "That's not even full semi-automatic." And then he shot faster. So,
but the real funny part's the way he was holding the gun.
Yeah, I remember
Once
that.
you see it, he looks like he's scared of the gun. That's the.
I've only shot like 3 or 4 times, but I know you just hold it right here, you know, like tuck it in and everything.
Yeah, lean into it.
Yeah. But you know, they're not gonna. I know. And then you were on CNN. How did you guys feel about your press coverage? Let's ask that question real quick.
I'm a little upset because I didn't see the press coverage. I was in the middle of driving back from, you know, it was a Sunday right before spring break for us. So I drove up to Gainesville, from Gainesville to Tallahassee, made that pit stop at the event. And then Tallahassee is like a halfway mark for me. So, you know, Tallahassee's 4 hours from Gainesville. Then I had just another, Tallahassee's 2 hours away from Gainesville, my mistake. And then to home is another 2 hours. So I was driving back home whenever I had a friend of mine send me a picture of me on CNN. And he's like, "Tiffany, you're on CNN. I was taking a nap and your voice woke me up." And it's like, oh my gosh, like what I say, how was it? Can someone send me the video? And no one was able to record it at the time. So I did not get to see the CNN coverage. I did get to see the CBS coverage. And apparently the CBS coverage spread to quite a few places. The first CBS coverage, I want to say, like, turned out pretty well. Like, you know, they asked me a few questions. They asked me a lot of questions, actually. They asked me about 7 questions. And then they displayed 2 of them, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then those turned out pretty well. And then apparently later in that evening, they had cut me off somewhere in the middle. The question was, what do you have to say to the Parkland shooters? And I said, I had said that you have a right to be angry because I'm angry with you. Like you just saw your friends get shot up. That's horrible. But at the same time, our rights should not be infringed. And this is not a correct answer. And they had cut me off at, you have a right to be angry. So.
Well, yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but they did do that.
It just makes you sound like a typical conservative, like shall not be infringed, like these buzzwords,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and this is how the media is, so that's what we should expect. I noticed that first of all, you were both there, and there were some other kids with you. Did they interview you, Victor?
Yeah, they interviewed me, but we didn't see the CNN one, but I know for the CBS one, her speech was way better than mine, so hers got covered. But I also think they didn't put mine because I was playing with the reporter a little bit because they were talking about like what to use an assault rifle or an assault weapon, and she was pointing the microphone at me, and I said, well, if I grab this microphone and hit you in the head, that's an assault weapon.
Correct.
And she was like,
yeah, that's not going to get
that in there, of course.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's too snarky.
I think it sounded like Ted Cruz, like CNN blasted Ted Cruz for not ever getting on CNN regarding the gun issue, and then he just blasted him back. It's like, I had a 20-minute interview with you, and you didn't air it. That's your fault.
Yeah. I'd say though, my favorite Ted Cruz moment is when he cooked bacon with an AR-15.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that went viral. Okay, let's see. Okay, some people saying Vic has to, Vic was turning red back there a little bit. We got to make sure. Your dad, I hope your dad's not watching this because I'm going to be in trouble.
He's not a big social media guru. He doesn't even have a Facebook. He doesn't have Facebook.
Good. Don't tell them about anything about this.
My mother might be watching though.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you, Mom. We appreciate your Frenchness. we love French fries. French fries are awesome.
Speaking of food, her mother's cooking is out of this world.
I go for a second.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, French food is pretty freaking awesome.
Which, of course, translates to her. So maybe we can go shooting. You can cook up some dessert or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cook some bacon right on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that bacon was French, but okay.
No, there's actually this dessert that she makes over there, and it actually has bacon in it. It's fun. It's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, someone's reminding me, and this is like this is an unfortunate thing, and I do have to do the giveaway because we're in the last 15 minutes. Unfortunately, there was an event that happened here in Florida. Did you guys see this? The pedestrian bridge that collapsed at Florida International University.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
That's awful.
Yeah, and I know there was some lives lost there or whatever. Right now, we don't know enough about it, so I'm not gonna get deep into that. That news has been unfolding like right before we came on, but it's terrible to hear, and it's not a good thing to see that there's people in Florida suffering, or anywhere in the world for that matter, suffering once again. Yeah. Okay, so let's see right here. I'm probably not going to be able to get to all the questions and stuff like that. We will have these guys come back on the show. Let's do the Instagram thing, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so Tiffany, you go to Big Daddy Guns on Instagram. It's Big Daddy Gun. It's singular on Instagram. So leave out the S. So just search for that and go there. And then Victor, you go to Hank Strange, and then look for the video on there. There's a video of me, and on that video, don't say it yet, but when you guys each go to one of those things, go look at the video. There's a bunch of comments on there, right? So you guys can probably see that. So just go find the video. Can you find Big Daddy Guns, Tiffany?
Yeah, I found it. What do you want me to look on?
Both on Instagram.
Yeah, they're both on Instagram. So just go. There's a video there with me. You'll see me with some hats. So go to the video and then look at the comments. Just click on all the comments that are there and scroll down. Don't tell us which.
And scroll down through the comments and we pick two winners?
Pick one, I pick the other.
Okay.
Oh, Hank, you cut off there. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Happens. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. First of all, let's go ladies first. Tiffany, which one of these hats do you like the best? Just look up at these hats. Which one?
I like the desert.
You like the desert? Okay, so this one. So whoever Tiffany picks gets this desert one, and then Victor, whoever you pick gets this one. Of course, they're all going to get the same patches. You know, you're going to get like one of the Big Daddy. You're going to get one each of these Big Daddy Guns patches. So, okay, you guys looking at the comments right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. Yep. My phone's a bit slow.
Oh, okay, okay. So but Tiffany, you've got yours up, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So scroll through there, take a little time, peruse, see one of those comments in there that sticks out the most to you. You know, and
okay, found it. All right.
Okay, so yeah, look through the comments. Tell us, you know, think in your mind which one of them sticks out to each one of you the most. And I'll start probably with Victor. So Victor, you get to pick. You get to pick first. So
all right.
The drums are rolling here. You know, pick one of those comments. Which one stands out to you the most? Read us the comment and then tell us who said it. And that person is going to get this. Is going to get the dark digital camo hat.
All right. So the hat is going to go to Jebs_guac_chamber, who says, watching now, good to see Yaf on.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you need to comment on there and tell him that he's the person that won. So comment on his comment and tell him that he won the hat. So there you go. So what was that? What was his name again?
It's all lower score. So Jebs_guac_chamber.
Okay, so there you go. Jeff_guac_chamber.
I'll take a screenshot and send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do that. You won this. You won this. You're the winner. I hope that you are in my email list. Otherwise, this hat goes to someone else, my friend. So you have to go to hankstrange.tv and get on the email list. Otherwise, someone else gets the hat. All right, Tiffany, now we're coming to you. And everyone is anxiously waiting to see who gets the desert camo hats. So, Tiffany, you got to pick one of those people.
I got to pick one.
Drum roll, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them at this point.
All right. I'm going to pick a Christopher Williams. You have Chris.sigp220.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I downloaded Instagram so I could follow you. I watch you on YouTube all the time.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So there you go. So Christopher Williams, right? You get this hat, my friend. Hat plus the patches for Big
Johnny. What's our contestant get today, Johnny?
Yeah, absolutely. This is what you get. I hope that you entered your email into hankstrange.tv. There you go. And by the way, hankstrange.tv, that's how we keep in touch with everyone from now on. So if YouTube pulls the plug on us or Facebook or whoever else, we can keep in touch with you guys and let you know what's going on. Also, we can let you know about a lot of cool things that we have going on in development around here, etc., as well as everything that we give away from now on goes through hankstrange.tv, including the guns, because we are going to be giving away lots of guns through this along with other stuff. So it's not just a hat. There it goes. Let's get these kids. Why don't you guys pose with some guns? This is the thumbnail. Look up at the camera.
Ooh.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's just too good looking. No one ever sees that kind of good looking on this show when it's just me and you, Walter.
Oh, come on. Stop it.
All right. So let's see here. We got about 10 minutes here. What else are we going to get into? Someone's asking what's going on with my audio. I have no idea what's going on with the audio here or why it does that from time to time.
Down or something.
Yeah. So Cyrus 308 says, he says, G&G, I'm only YouTube. Facebook is too socialist for me. And so Cyrus 308, I did promise him that tomorrow, someone's got to remind me tomorrow, I'm going to give away something. So you got to text me before I leave the house or something like that. I'm going to bring in I'm going to do some kind of giveaway tomorrow, no matter what happens. For the sake of Cyrus 308, we're going to give away something that all you have to do is be in the hankstrange.tv email list and then watch the video. That's going to go down tomorrow.
Cool.
So, yeah, whoever wants to do that. So let's see. What did we not cover with these guys, Walter? Were there any other questions?
Did you guys talk about the stuff going on with that bridge collapsing?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were just talking about it just now. It's you know, it's unfortunate, man. I hate to see that kind of stuff.
Oh man, they just put it up. They put it up yesterday, the day before, something. And
wow.
It's just awful. Like I believe it's spring break over there, so not as many people are over there, which is phenomenal. Yeah. But it's still awful that you know at this happened. Period.
Bad.
Yeah. So Treadhead44 says he doesn't have IG either. That's why we're gonna do stuff. Listen, I'm gonna do stuff for all the peoples.
The peeps.
Yeah. I'm gonna do stuff for everyone that follows me on Instagram. We're gonna do something for people that follow me on Twitter. We're gonna do something for the Facebook. We're gonna do something for the people who only do the YouTube thing. You know, I mean, damn it, if we have to, we'll do. No, forget it. We're not doing snail mail. That's just not happening. That's where I draw the line. Damn it. I carry my revolver in single action. Says, "Hey Hank, my life sucks. I need to win something." No, come on, man. That's not true.
That's not the American spirit. Come on.
Yeah, now. You will win something. As long as I'm here doing this, I'm gonna keep giving away stuff.
Okay.
So that's just gonna happen. So inevitably, you've got to win. You will win something.
You're gonna get something.
And also, if you get to see this handsome face right here, you are winning every day, my friend. Every day you are winning.
You guys are witnessing some serious shizits. Let's just say.
So Cyrus308 wants to know what you guys think about David Hogg. What would you say to him? Do you guys want to answer that? You want to tackle that one?
David Hogg. I have to confess, I haven't actually heard personally what he has to say. I've seen a bunch of, you know, like I know that he's one of the CNN's favorites specifically. And David Hogg, you know, I think he just kind of takes advantage of the situation a little bit. I think he's always had those views, and I don't think it's because I don't think it's because this happened that he magically became, you know, like a gun control person. I think he's always had those views, and he's simply taking advantage of the situation.
No, he wants to be on the news.
He wants to be. That's his gig. He wants to be a journalist type person, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, he's, you know, CNN's, you know, favorite survivor right now.
Yeah. So. I mean, let's remember that. Let's remember that regardless of what's going on with him, he's a young person. And yeah, the media is controlling a lot of stuff here, and the media aren't going to pick up. You know, you guys, I think, are young, good-looking people, and America would like to hear your side of the story, but they're not going to pick you guys up and do that. You know, that's just the reality of it. And so if they don't pick up David Hogg, they'll pick up someone else.
Well, they had I said when that first happened, they had the perfect combination. They had the David Hogg, they had the shaved head, whatever she was.
Oh, yeah.
They have the whole ethnic gimmick going there, you know.
And then you also have this NBC guy that gave the speech that's been going viral lately. So, you know, as long as it fits their narrative, you know, CNN will post it. NBC will post it all over the place.
Yes. I'll give David Hogg one thing. He is smart. And as somebody who kind of like understands Machiavelli, this is very sort of in a Machiavellian mentality, because he's taking something tragic to his own benefit, which, you know, to him, you know, that's fine to him. And, you know, if he wants to keep doing that to advance his political career, that's completely fine. But at the same time, I don't think I wouldn't say it's completely fine. I think it's horrible.
Well, no. Like I said,
well, Machiavellian perspective.
Yeah, no, you have to understand what he's doing, and he's just riding that wave. Look, it shouldn't be that way. But you know what? That's why people like us, we have to get together. The media doesn't have all the power here. We have the power. And I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about all of us, the people out there watching this, listening to this. You know, you guys are taking the risk of stepping up. I know that's, you know, all of this stuff's going on the record. People are going to hold it against you. You know, that's a brave thing that I think that you're doing, and I commend you for it. You know, then folks like me have to give you a podium to stand up to and get your voice out there. That's what we're doing here. Now, then it's up to the people out there to share this stuff and help push this forward, right? We can counteract everything these guys are doing, because we live in the internet world, and the media doesn't control all of this.
Oh, definitely. There's definite. As long as like you just got to speak out. You just got to speak out of like for yourself. You got to speak out on these issues. And whenever you see more and more people like CNN, like MSNBC, and all those guys, they put their own narrative out there, but they don't represent you. And that's the big thing, is that you put, like, you find who you like, you find out who you support, and then if you don't support anybody, you put your own ideas out there, and then you debate.
That's market of ideas.
You know, America was built on ideas, and you know, the internet is a fantastic market for you to display those ideas.
Yeah.
So, you know, whenever it comes to giving, you know, people like us a platform to pretty much speak our mind and speak your own mind, and getting other people that watch your show to put their inquiries in there, and for us to answer them is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you know, CNN doesn't represent us at all. And I would say most of your listeners as well. So.
Absolutely. So, Walter, we've got this question for you here. People want to know, how expensive is it to get that bazooka? Did you go get another gun? Did you put up the bazooka?
It's just sitting right next to me here.
Yeah. So can we see the bazooka?
The bazooka was only like $150 when I bought it.
Really? Wow. So how can someone? I mean, obviously that's a deactivated bazooka.
Deactivated, right? If it was activated, I don't even know how much. At first, it'd be a destructive device, so it'd be a $200 tax stamp, like buying a machine gun, same kind of thing. It would probably be $5-6 grand. You know, it just depends. But what do you do with it then? You know, you can't. Each round, if you have a live round, which, you know, goes boom, that's a destructive device too.
Oh, really?
That's $200 a piece. Now you can fire dummy rounds or a sub caliber insert inside of it, but there's a lot of people that have live bazookas, but you know, they just have them because it's worth more money as a live item versus deactivated. So, but these things are pulling 354, 450 if you can find them. So. I did all right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I would love to have one on my wall. Yeah, so there we go. Let's see. Does anyone have any final questions here for these kids? I don't necessarily see anything out there. Okay, guys, if let's start here with you know what? We'll start with Victor. Victor, if you can get some last final words in here, man, what would you like people to know, or what would you like them to do? In terms of like follow you guys on social media, or what do you want them to know about you personally?
Well, I think I pretty much said the biggest thing, which is why, you know, I came from a different country, much like yourself, much like Tiffany's mom, much like my mom, with a vision for what we want for this country. And we have found a home in the United States because it's the home of freedom. It's the home of freedom of ideas, freedom of religion, and you know, people like ourselves, especially immigrants, we have to come here and realize why this country is such a great country. I personally believe it's the greatest country in the world, despite its many flaws, and I just think we have to fight to keep America, you know, the great country that it is. And you know, besides, you know, and then for the plug. You know the number 1-800-USA-1776, and those guys will hook you up with setting up your own chapter or giving information on existing chapters or the upcoming conferences. Like the conference that's coming up sooner is the Freedom Conference, the Religious Freedom Conference, but that's sold out. But the next one is the National Conservative Student Conference, which is always the biggest one of the year. And that comes up the end of July, beginning of August. Me and Tiffany might be there. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very low cost, and they'll try to help you with any way they can with finances. And they just have a huge lineup of speakers, and it's always a lot of fun. And you're at a hotel there, so it's really like it's essentially a conservative getaway, and it's a lot of fun. So anybody that's out there that wants to join, that's you know, either high school or college age, should definitely try and come out, or definitely try to connect with the foundation.
Okay, awesome. And thank you for that, Victor. Okay, so then we're gonna go to you, Tiffany, and we're gonna let you get some of your last words in here. By the way, you need to send me a screen capture as well of who you picked, just so I can make sure that I go through and find that guy. What would you like people to know about you, and you know, what are your like final things that you would like to plug tonight?
Well, myself, I'm a rather boring individual. So, you know, but a lot of what I do is, but I'm a biomedical engineering major. So whenever it comes to politics and just biomedical engineering, there's a big similarity whenever it comes to looking at the problem and then analyzing it. And I would encourage people that are watching this to not fall into the trap that the media will put out there, that sometimes even society will put out there. You have to go and research for yourself, understand fully the argument, and because oftentimes, like, Ben Shapiro says that facts don't care about your feelings. It's important to know those facts. It's important to educate yourself. It's arming yourself with knowledge. Like, we're talking about guns and the Second Amendment right today. You got to arm yourself with knowledge as well. So you need make sure to educate yourselves on all the matters and speak out. Don't be afraid to speak out. Like, me and Victor are here today and to speak out on this issue. We were invited, thank you again, Hank, for this opportunity to speak out on this issue. And like, your words have meaning, your words have power. Like, you're an important individual. You are an American. Your opinions matter. So make sure to, number one, do your job, research, and two, don't be afraid to speak out and be active.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, everyone in the chat is very impressed with you guys, and there's lots of kudos going to you. I think I echo that, Walter. I think you believe the same thing. It was great of you guys to come on. I know this is probably like your first time doing something like this. You're welcome to come on here again. And we'll do lots of other things. We'll get you guys out there. We'll get you, shooting some guns, and we'll try to help you out with the cause. We really appreciate you all coming on here and standing up. And I'd like to encourage any other young people watching this. As Walter always says, we need you all to get in this fight and know that there's hundreds of people here in this chat and thousands of people out there, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that will stand behind you and help you to get your voices known. I really feel like when Florida and the entire country wants to go in this direction, when you ban someone who is 18, 19, 20 years old from being able to defend themselves, you are doing a huge,
disservice.
Yeah, disservice and a miscarriage of justice to young men and women that deserve to be free and enjoy the freedom that America has to offer. So, I want to thank everyone, for all the folks in the chat, everyone that's here, for doing what you do. We're out of here, man. That's the best thing to say. Okay. Thanks a lot to you kids. I'm going to see you in like a couple of seconds.
Okay, don't go anywhere.
All right. Yeah. Stay right there. We're ending the broadcast right now. Good night. Peace out. Come on in. We got another young guy. Come on. You can come in here. Here's another young guy helping out behind the scenes. Everyone. Yeah. This is Gabe. He's working real hard, going to school and coming here for his internship. And he has to work with me, the poor guy.
Oh,
He deserves rewards just for having to deal with me. Okay, we're out of here. Look, do you want to press? Look, you can press the stop. You can press the button and stop the broadcast.
Bye-bye.
Peace. We're out of here.